Hey everyone, it's Tobes, and welcome to your second monitor. Today for Midweek Magic, we are doing Edge of Eternities Constructed. This is a 60-card event where you build a deck full of cards only from Edge of Eternities, and basic lands, of course. I guess you could use the basic lands from Edge of Eternities. I know I did. So this is what I've got today. It is, we're going to look at it in Moxfield. This is Gruul Landfall. I've got it up here in an exciting format. I'm happy to show it to you. If you want to jump ahead, check the video's bookmarks, and you'll see that we can jump straight to game one. But I'm going to introduce the deck first, so you can see what we're trying to do here. So in general, the idea is all centering around lander tokens. Lander tokens, if you haven't seen them before, are a token that says, here we go, pay 2 and tap this and sacrifice it to Rampant Growth. Search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. That is a big part of what the deck's doing. Most of our cards make or use lander tokens or can use them somehow. We have a few other ways of making additional tokens. We have a little bit of removal, but otherwise it's mostly just, can we get a lot of value off of our lander tokens? Generally, in the form of direct damage. Biotech Specialist is where we start with this. It is a 4 of in this deck. For a single red and a green, we get a 1/3 Insect Scientist that when it enters, it makes a lander. And whenever we sacrifice an artifact, this creature deals 2 damage to target opponent. So we shock our opponent every time we crack a lander. So we're not just rampant growthing, we're shocking them. If we have 2 Biotech Specialists out at the same time and we crack a lander, that's 4 damage. We only have to do that 5 times, and we've got a lot more than 5 landers in the deck. I'm also running Eubidian Terrabotanist, which is a 1 and a green 2/3 Insect Druid with Landfall gain a life. We've got a bunch of Landfall in this deck. That's what the deck is centered around. This gives us a little bit of a buffer while our opponents are coming at us in combat. We have a above rate creature and a little bit of life every time a land comes in. 2 copies of Terrapact Intimidator. I think this card is cool. For 1 and a red, we get a 2/1 Kavu Scout that says when it enters, target opponent may have you create 2 lander tokens. If they don't, put 2 +1/+1 counters on this creature. So this is either a 2-mana 4/3, or it's a 2/1 that comes in with 2 artifacts, 2 landers. That's useful to us in multiple ways, which we'll see in a moment. Galactic Wayfarer is the most simple card in the deck. 2 and a green for a 3/3 Human Scout. When it enters, it makes a lander. So essentially a French vanilla 3/3, but a 3/3 is not nothing. It's pretty nice. There is also a 3/3 in this set that you can pay 3 and just pump it up by a +1/+1 counter. I think that Galactic Wayfarer works better for us in this deck. But not as well as Tannock, Memorial Ensign. Really like this guy. For 1, a red and a green, we get a 2/4 Kavu Pilot with Landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, Tannock deals 1 damage to each opponent. If this is the second time this ability is resolved this turn, draw a card. So we still get the damage on that second landfall trigger. We just also get to draw. So Tannock is another way that we can have our lander tokens do damage beyond just what Biotech Specialist does. Tannock just triggers on the land coming in, whereas the Biotech Specialist triggers on the lander token being sacrificed. But as a third option, or a third way for us to get some damage to our opponent, we have Weftstalker Ardent. For 2 and a red, it's a 2/3 Drix Artificer that says whenever another creature or artifact you control enters, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. So it's like a better Impact Tremors on a 2/3 body, which it means if we have Weftstalker Ardent in play, and then we play this Biotech Specialist, the Ardent is going to trigger twice, once for the Specialist and once for the lander token. And then maybe we sacrifice the token and we get our land to come in, and Tannock will trigger as well as the Specialist. So that's sort of our sort of core loop that we're going for in this deck. I should also mention that the Weftstalker Ardent has Warp for a single red. So we can warp it in by paying just 1 red. It will come into the battlefield and just sit there until end of turn, at which point it goes to exile, and then we can cast it for its casting cost on a later turn. So if we happen to be early game and we want to say, I don't know, it's turn 3, we can either play the Wealthstalker Ardent, or maybe we play the Ardent and then a Biotech Specialist, getting 2 triggers off the Ardent from having warped it in, and then it'll warp out, but we're probably going to be able to ramp into getting it out pretty quickly anyway. Most of the rest of our creatures are supported by this strategy, but you've seen the sort of central loop here. We have 2 Ice Cave Crashers. It's a 3 and a green 4/4 beast with trample that gets a bonus to its power every time a land enters. So 4/4 trample for 4, that's fine. Being able to make it a 5/5 or a 5/4, or rather even a 6/4 sometimes, is even better. But just a 4/4 is enough to muck up the board for our opponents. Kav Landseeker is also fun. For 3 and a red, we get a 4/3 Menace Kavu Soldier that says when it enters, create a lander token and sacrifice that token at the beginning of the end step on your next turn. So you have until the end of the turn you play the Kav Landseeker, and until the end of the turn after it. And at that point, you have to sacrifice the lander token if you haven't used it. Usually, it's not that big of a deal to use it by then, and if you really need your mana for something else, it's probably better than that trigger you'd be getting from the lander token. Plus, a 4/3 Menace. Memorial Team Leader is also nice. 3 and a red for another 4/3 Kav Soldier. During your turn, other creatures you control get +1/+0, but you can also warp it in for 1 and a red. So 1 and a red, you get a power bonus to all your creatures during your turn, then it goes away and you'll have to cast it again next turn, but you might have been able to win with that power bonus. Pretty nice. Just little extra things to supplement our game plan in the 4-drop slot. But we also have 2 Siege Ship Agrarians. For 3 and a green, we get a 3/3 Insect Scientist that says whenever this creature becomes tapped, create a lander token. So at one point, I built this deck and had some spacecrafts in it, so I could tap this thing and just pump out lander tokens. But the spacecraft weren't doing enough to warrant a slot in the deck, when we can just attack with this thing and get our lander token and maybe some landfall later, especially because this has the landfall ability. Whenever land enters on our side, we get a 1/1 counter on this creature. So it's pretty easy to play this as a 4/4 and then make it into as a 4 mana creature and make it into a 4/4 or a 5/5 pretty quickly. Then we don't have to worry so much about attacking with it and thereby tapping it to make more lander tokens, because it's not going to get blocked anyway. We have 1 Harmonious Grove Strider, which does punch above its weight in this deck. It's not very exciting, but it's a 3 and double green for a star beast with power and toughness equal to the number of lands we control. That gets out of hand, and just having a big donkey on the battlefield that can block for us, that can maybe attack for us, and force our opponent to make tough trades, that's pretty alright. It even comes with Ward 2. So if they want to spend a removal spell on it rather than one of our combo pieces, that usually works out alright. And then Glacier Godmaw. We've got 2 of these, and they're very expensive, but I think they're great. For 5 and double green, we have a 6/6 trample that enters and creates a lander token. So a little bit more expensive Colossal Dreadmaw, but it makes a lander. And it has landfall. Whenever land enters on our side, creatures we control get +1/+1, vigilance, and haste until end of turn. So if we can drop the Godmaw and then play a land, the Godmaw becomes a 7/7 vigilance, haste, trample that turn. Pretty alright. So we've got a good top end, we've got a good middle ground, but down at the bottom is where we have our 4 ofs and our 3 ofs, because they have that's our combo. We want to be able to just drain our opponent out, or burn them out, we should say. So to support that, we have a few sorceries. 2 Sammy's Curiosity. It's totally fine to play on turn 1. It's just a green for a sorcery, gain 2 life, make a lander. But remember, if you have your Wealthstalker Ardent in play, Sammy's Curiosity is gain 2 life, create a lander, and do a damage to your opponent. Orbital Plunge is also nice. It's a 4 mana sorcery that deals 6 damage to a creature, and if excess damage was dealt, create a lander token. So we might get some landers out of it, but usually this is a good way to use a little bit of ramp to get ourselves to 4 mana or 5 mana earlier than our opponent, and then we have that mana sitting around so that we can remove something of theirs that maybe they've played and maybe they've pumped up. Orbital Plunge is not like premium removal, but 6 damage isn't nothing. Next, we're running a single copy of Close Encounter. It is just Rabid Bite, but you can use it on a creature who is currently warped. So if we were to warp in our Memorial Team leader for 1 and a red, and then it goes to exile at the end of turn, we can use Close Encounter to have it Rabid Bite a creature in the play. But in case you don't know what Rabid Bite does, its Close Encounter deals damage equal to the power of the chosen creature or card to target creature. Normally Rabid Bite has the creature do the damage itself. In this case, the source is Close Encounter rather than the creature. But in any case, it's just a removal spell based on direct damage from that is derived from the creature's power, or the creature card's power. I'm running 2 copies of Siege Ship Impact. For 1 and a green, it is naturalized, destroy target artifact or enchantment, but if its mana value is 2 or less, create a land or token. A lot of the times, this is going to hit an artifact creature, or maybe sometimes even an enchantment creature, probably not in this event, but it could, outside of that. And in any case, there's a lot of artifacts running around in Edge of Eternities, so naturalize, is fine. And if we have something that's cheap, like maybe they have a lander token out or something, we can make one of our own lander tokens. Next, I have 2 more removal spells in the form of Meltstrider's Resolve. For a single green, we have an aura that enchants a creature we control. When it enters, our creature fights another target creature, so they deal damage equal to their power to each other. And Meltstrider's Resolve gives our creature +0/+2 and can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. So we might take our Memorial Team leader and make it into a 4/5 that immediately fights something, and it can't be multi-blocked. It's not, again, a premium removal spell, but it works a lot more often than you think. And for this deck, we are doing a lot of spending mana on lander tokens and cracking them for multiple types of value, but specifically to ramp out more lands. Which means even though oftentimes we have a lot of lands, on our way there, we're fighting for every mana we have. So a 1 mana fight spell that leaves our creature permanently buffed, even if the buff is only its toughness, it's not bad. Finally, we're running a copy of Eusocial Engineering. For 3 and double green, we have an enchantment with Landfall. That is, whenever Landfall happens, you make a 2/2 robot artifact creature token. But you can also warp this in for 1 and a green. So you get it in, play your land, get a robot. Maybe you can crack a lander token as well, get a second robot, then it warps out and you have to cast it again later. This is not only great because we've got a lot of landfall in our deck, and so having a bunch of extra 2/2 robots can't hurt us. Those robots are creatures and also artifacts. So Weftstalker Ardent is going to trigger on those as well. So something nice. I wish that Edge of Eternities had a Terramorphic Expanse in it, or even an Evolving Wilds, something along those lines. A land that we could crack, that we could fetch basic, because that's double our landfall in a turn. But it doesn't. So we're running a little bit heavier on green than we are red. In fact, let's change it just a touch. And 1 copy of Stomping Ground, because I had it in my collection, and why not? So we can't find it with our lander tokens, so we're mostly heavy on basics, but sometimes it might be worth it. So that is our deck, our Gruul Landfall for Edge of Eternities constructed for this week's Midweek Magic. Let's get to it. All right, we're going into game 1. I'm interested to see what people play this time. I know that red-green sort of landfall was pretty popular in... Oh, yep. It was. I was going to say it was pretty popular in Final Fantasy Limited. So we'll see if that's what's going on again. It seems like it is already. So we'll just keep rolling with it. No need to warp in our Ardents yet. We might want to hold it for this Siege Ship Impact if they have another thing. Oh no, it's the new Questing Beast. Oh, that's not good for us. Well, we'll do what we can do. So we'll warp in this Weftstalker Ardent. We will play this Biotech Specialist. It will trigger the Ardent twice, once for itself and once for the lander token, and then the Ardent will leave us. All right. Tapestry Warden. Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power attacks with its butt. And with toughness equal to its power... Oh, and it stations the same way. Interesting. Okay. Well, I suppose we can... I guess we can Ice Wave Crasher just to have a large body. I don't think that that's terrible. But I also like... Maybe that's not horrible to do. I had a thought. Maybe dropping Weftstalker Ardent and having it fight the Baloth. That's maybe not terrible. Let's do the one that's already warped. Fight the Baloth. Kills the Baloth. That's okay. Baloth is pretty threatening, and now we have a big butt that we can block with. Tapestry Warden will attack as a Vigilant 4/4, but we can still block that. And if they want to kill our Ardent, they can. We have a bonus one. Creatures with power less than their toughness. Seems good. Hey, it's Jean. Jean is now a 1-mana 2/2 with the Tapestry Warden in play. That's cool. Oh, big dragon. Big dragon is not what I want to see. They deal the damage to the Weftstalker Ardent, then they attack with the Tapestry Warden. Oh, they don't do it that way. Okay. If they'd done the Weftstalker Ardent, I couldn't have blocked the Tapestry Warden without losing it. Interesting. Well, we're kind of hurting on lands, but luckily there's a way to fix that. Got it right here. We get some green mana. I guess we hold up one of our removal spells just in case. No reason to attack. Maybe they'll play a spacecraft that we can hit with close encounter. Ooh. They've got a Bygone Colossus. I don't know why though. Oh, it gets haste. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's gonna mess us up. So we resolve it. It gets trampled as well. I think that's it for us. Yeah, here we go. Can we survive this? Not really. We'll do it like so. And we'll close encounter to... No. We want to target Jean, choosing our Weftstalker Ardent to kill Jean. We take 7. Both of our creatures die, both of their creatures live. Bygone Colossus warps out. They've still got the Tapestry Warden, but we've got 5 mana. Maybe we can do something with it. We can play Tannock. He doesn't come in with a lander token, but I say we play our 4/4 and hope that they don't have a removal spell. Guess we could have warped in our Ardent first. I don't think it really matters that much. I think we're pretty much done, because can't they bring out their dragon? Yeah, their dragon's going to kill us. Maybe not. They play their own Agrarian. Alright, we will trade. Another Tannock. Doesn't help us, but we'll play him. all they have to do is play their dragon. And there we go. Good game. We will cast this Seed Ship Impact in the process, though. Gives us another green spell. Maybe we have a green spell as a quest. Alright, well, that was game 1. It looks like, from our tiny sample size, that red-green is a popular color combination. I'm not surprised. It's fun. Landfall's always a good time. That's why we built it. I think Edge of Eternities is pretty fun. Alright, we're going into game 2. See what... Ooh! Kilo Avatar, nice. See what this opponent has for us. This hand is fine. We can start off with our forest. Let's see if they are willing to give us a 4/3 for 2. Maybe they will and then use a kill spell on it. At least it gets their kill spell out of their hand. Ooh, Virus Beetle. Okay, seems reasonable. Let's drop Sammy's Curiosity. We will attack with our Intimidator. We lose the Beetle, sure. Play this Eumidian Terrabotanist. And this Forest for the Landfall trigger, and we pass. Another Virus Beetle, sure. We'll throw away our Grove Strider, because we want to get up to some other things. We will, I think we just attack. We could have just gotten in for 6, but I think it's fine. We'll see what they keep going with. Is it another Virus Beetle? Hopefully it's a creature with power less than 5 and toughness less than 5 as well, so that we can Maelstrider's Resolve to kill it with our Intimidator. Should open a window. Okay, opponent. We're thinking about what we want to do. Oh, timeline color. Oh yeah, this guy's good. Sure. Warped in. Interesting. Alright, well we'll play the Weftstalker Ardent. We'll just go ahead and bring it in. Play a land to gain a life. Attack for 6. And just pass. I guess they warped this in because they couldn't cast it with their single black mana. Oh, we got this thing back. Alright, this has also been warped in, it looks like. So one of our creatures takes a damage, we take a little damage, and then that's it. So they're taking 8 here. And then, oh, that's it. We would have won with our Biotech Specialist because it would come in and make a lander. We could then crack the lander and do 2 damage to their face, plus the 8 combat damage we had, and that would have been 10. But good game. That was alright. Let's see what our prize is for that. It's a rare. It is Entity Tracker from Duskmourn. Draws us cards. Alright. Let's go to next up. If you're wondering about... Oh, here we go. Game 3. But if you are wondering how emoting good game works on Arena, they have to be around to see it. Which means if Arena detects that whatever actions being taken in game are going to result in the game ending anyway, or if they've already scooped, that last couple of moments, you can't send an emote and expect them to see it. They've got to remain in the game. As far as Arena is concerned, if you leave the game or are being killed in that moment, the game is already over and there's no further communication. Alright, let's play this Biotech Specialist and see if they burn us out immediately. They don't. Ooh, they've got kind of a similar plan to us, which is fine. We're going to attack, see if they'll let us have the damage. They don't. That's okay. They'll just play another Biotech Specialist. Make another lander. So next turn, if we want, we can spend the turn just cracking landers, get 2 more land in play. Ooh, yep, they got the dragon again. Alright, we're going to take a total of 7, I guess. Go to 15. Unless, of course, we block the Ardent, which we can. So I guess we go to 17. Yeah, that's okay. This dragon is pretty popular today, I guess. So we can't kill the Ardent, but we can do this. Let's get a couple more forests and do 8 damage to them. We're getting forests because we're mostly green, and we already have 2 red sources. We're not going to need more than that. So they go to 8. We've got 6 lands, and we'll pass the turn. Next turn, if we want, we can Ice Cave Crasher and Melt Shredder Resolve. To kill one of their things. But maybe we want to crack our lander token. I think we're going to play Tanook to get just a tiny little bit more damage in on them. This way they go to 7. Get another forest, sure. Tanook triggers. There you go. And we can't kill anything, so we'll just wait. Melt Strider's Resolve doesn't give us a power bonus, so Zookeeper Mechan. That's alright. They're going to do 2 more damage to us here. And Nutrient Block, 2 more damage, so we are at 12. And I think, depending on what we draw, okay. Let's play this Galactic Wayfarer. Make a lander token. Crack our lander token. So many triggers. We will get a mountain for variety. And we're going to play Melt Strider's Resolve to kill their Zookeeper Mechan. Just to get them off of their mana, since it can tap for mana. And we attack and put them at 1. They can kill something, but they don't. Good game, it's so hard. Alright. Well, we got through that. And that was a good game. Sometimes in this format, Fiery Annihilation, you just get a little bit slower than your opponent, and that's it for you. Right, we have a rare, and it is... it's the Mind Skinner, also from Duskmourn. Sweet. I built a deck with this guy in it when, I guess, Foundations dropped, maybe when Ether Drift dropped, trying to do Dimir Mill in Standard, and it worked okay. Alright. So this is game 4, and it may be our last game if we get a win out of this. Doesn't look great, but because we're up a game, I'll keep it. Maybe they'll give us lander tokens that we can use to get some green. Otherwise, this is a terrible keep. It may be a terrible keep. We'll see. Ooh. Sunstar Chaplain. 3/2, beginning of your end step. If you have 2 or more tapped creatures, something gets a 1/1 counter, and you can remove counters to tap things. Got it. We will Terrapact Intimidator. Do they want to give us a 4/3, or do we get the ability to fix our mana? Alright, mana fixing. Alright, are we mono white? Flight Deck Coordinator. Beginning of your end step, if you control 2 or more tapped creatures, you gain 2 life. Yeah. Oh, okay, so that's what we're doing here. So they're gaining life, something's getting bigger. Yeah. Alright. We will wish that we just had green mana, but we don't. That's alright. We crack our lander and go find some. We'll attack, since we're not blocking anyway. Likely to go down to 13 with this. Then next turn, can't really kill it. Ooh, another Flight Deck Coordinator. Not ideal for us. Adagia lets them make copies of artifacts or enchantments they control. Well, I don't feel like we're going to win this one. Yeah, doesn't look like. Well, so there's no way around this, huh? I mean, yeah, that's I think that's just it for us. We'll make another lander token, gain a little life, crack a lander, get another green source. And then we will chump block their biggest thing. Probably still take 7, go to 8. We've got 5 mana and no creatures. And they've got a dog, which means they're not going to lose because they can't disappoint this little buddy. Another Sunstar Chaplain. All right. Well, sure. We'll block the Chaplain. Go to 8. They get all the triggers. And now if they want to, they can just tap down whatever we play and we're essentially done. We'll crack this. Do 2 damage to them. Grab ourselves another green source. We'll play Melt Shredder's Resolve to kill their dog just as a wave goodbye, and then we're just done. Good game there, Jeezy. Alright. Well, at least we're not done with the event. Midweek Magic continues. We are 2-2. Let's go again. Alright, game 5. Again, might be our last one. Alright. This is a little bit of a slow hand, but it's fine. We can deal with this. We're on the draw. Ooh, Uthros. Nice. They tapped Stomping Ground and pass. Uthros is stationed up to being a Tolarian Academy. Or Plate Pangolin. Oh, is it? Interesting. Okay. We don't need to warp in the Ardent for no reason. Maybe we just play the Ardent. Okay, Menon. They can station a little bit. So this is going to be Artifact Aggro. If we play the Ardent, it is a little slow for us. We can play the Wayfarer. I think we'll play the Ardent and just try and build toward our future a little bit. It's not ideal, but because they're going to play something that is an artifact. Ooh, another Uthros? Is it not legendary? It's not legendary? I had no idea. That's crazy. Ooh, 2 of those? Wow. That's nuts. I had an Uthros in my pool at the pre-release, and I ran it with my Dimir deck, and it was fine. I got it to go off once. Oh, no artifacts to grow their pangolin. Okay. Stationing. We're gonna play, I think, this Wayfarer to get 2 triggers and to have a lander token in case we can use it next turn with one of our other cards. We'll attack with our Ardent. I don't mind trading the Wayfarer for the Pangolin if that is an option for us. But if we draw another land, we can play Tannock and then crack the lander token, get a little bit of value off of Tannock. Okay, Warmaker Gunship is going to kill one of our things. Probably the Ardent. Yep, makes sense. They can't grow the Pangolin, though, which is fine, which means maybe they attack with it. Maybe we get to trade. No. No such luck. Right. Just want to make things bigger. Oh, good. So here's Tannock. Get a little damage. Get a little more damage as we find ourselves a forest, and we'll draw a card off of this. We'll go ahead and get in, just to put a little pressure on them. I didn't imagine they would get rid of the Rust Harvester, but you never know. Now this has got a station up to 6. Steel Swarm Operator is a 1/1 flyer that can tap for mana. Huh. Okay. Well, we're about to take 8, which is not my idea of a good time, personally, but... Oh my. Okay, 8 in the air. Well, we can't stop that next turn, so what can we do? Probably nothing. We don't have... No, we don't have a... Ooh, shame. We just don't have removal for the air. Is there something we can do here? We've got 7 mana, let's say. They are at 10. We cast this. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. They're at 3. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe? Yeah, we get them low, but we can't get them dead. Here's a mountain. Here's a Galactic Wayfarer with a lander token. Let's crack the lander token. Do another damage to them. We draw a card. It's not useful to us. We warp in our Memorial Team Leader and give them 7 damage to worry about, and then that is a good game. Yeah, they've got us after this. All right. That was a good game, though. Thanks, Flamedy. Flame Die? Alright, I think this is game 6 now. Yeah, I think game 6. Ooh, Lord Xander avatar. Unfortunately, we can't keep a hand with just red sources and green cards. I mean, we might get lucky, draw a single forest, get to play the Biotech Specialist. It would be a fine hand if that were the case, but we've got to mulligan this. This is much better. Keeping it. We're going to take this 4-drop, which we can't use yet, put it out there at the bottom. They've got a Lightstall Inquisitor, which is a rare. We exile something, it costs 1 more to cast, or a land that'll enter tapped. We're going to choose this Stomping Ground because it is going to enter tapped anyway. Play the Stomping Ground, enters tapped. So otherwise, this is a 2/1 Vigilance for 1, which is an incredible Savannah Alliance. Oh, we've got the Sunstar Chaplain again. We're doing more of this. So let's get out our biotech specialist. We may be able to kill their Lightstall Inquisitor with Close Encounter next turn, but I really do want more lands. Maybe it's worth it to get out the Galactic Wayfarer first, so we can kill their Sunstar Chaplain. Chaplain is dangerous. I think we go that way with it. Yeah, okay. Shame. Would like to have gotten the Ardent out first, and then the Wayfarer, so we can trigger off the Wayfarer and the Lander token to do 2 damage to them, but I suppose it's okay. Ooh, the gunship. And do they kill... Oh, what do they hit? Oh, that's fine. Not so worried about that. They can station this up to 5, which is not going to get it flying yet, but they will be able to use the Sunstar Chaplain's end of turn ability to put a 1/1 counter on a creature they control, which will be the Inquisitor. Yeah, unfortunate. Is the Inquisitor better to hit than the Chaplain? I don't think it is. So we will... If we do that... Yeah, we'll just Close Encounter here, rather. Pardon me. With the Galactic Wayfarer to kill it. We will move to combat, attack with the Biotech Specialist, and pass, and we will Lander token on their turn. The Gunship is a 4/3 flyer. Ooh, Wedgelight Rammer. Make a robot. Neat. This way they can attack with the Gunship and the Inquisitor. I assume they're only going to attack with the Gunship, because I'll definitely trade my Wayfarer for their rare. Yep, that's fine. They're going to station the Rammer. Ooh, it goes up to 9 to become a 3/4 flying first strike. Green source. We have another red source. Let's play Use Social Engineering. Actually, if we do 2 and 3 and 1, that's not horrible. Play this first. Warp in, use Social Engineering. Play our Mountain. Trigger off the robot. That's okay. We'll attack with our Galactic Wayfarer. And I assume they don't trade, but maybe they do. They do! Yeah, I don't mind that. Because we've got a robot and they've got a robot. We're going to take a beating in the air for the next 3 turns. Another Wedgelight Rammer. Okay, makes another robot. We're not planning to get in with combat damage anyway, so I'm not that worried. We've only got a couple of turns, but we might be able to get some good stuff out of it. Right. So use Social Engineering. Here is a forest. We have a trigger. We have another trigger from that trigger. We're going to crack this Lander token to get yet another trigger from the Biotech Specialist. Get another robot. Get another trigger. Attack, attack, attack. Because we can block both of their robots with our robots. We can't block their gunship anyway. So maybe we will keep getting lucky as the next turn goes. But it does kind of come down to their turn now and our next draw. Rescue Skiff. Return a creature from their graveyard to the battlefield. That's dangerous for us. Sunstar Chaplain is the right choice, I suppose, but it does require them to have things tapped. But I guess they can put those counters on something that isn't tapped, yeah. They just need to have 2 or more tapped creatures, but the 1/1 counter can go on an untapped creature. That's a shame. And then they don't have the mana up to use that counter to tap, but they sure can station... Can they station this up to being a first striking flyer? I guess they can. And they'd still have a robot untapped. They left both robots untapped. All right, well, this is not going to save us, but we'll give it a shot. 1 damage to them. Make a robot and gain a life. 1 damage to them. They can block 2 creatures, so I think that's Xaxes. Yeah, I think so. Good game, Dar. Unless you've got some other kind of trick that I'm not seeing. Good game. Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't get the good game off before they had passed through blockers, which means the game was already over and they didn't get to see my good game emote. But from what I understand, the etiquette is you don't good game your opponent unless it's actually like an epic good game, or much more commonly, you're conceding. You're saying, yes, I'm the one that lost. Good game. I always good game my opponent when I scoop, or at least I try to. So yeah, that was game 6. We have a molecular modifier style for our prize, and that's it for Midweek Magic this week. If you are looking to build an Edge of Eternities constructed deck, it's a fun format, and it's standard legal, you know. So it may not be like standard competitive, but if you're not playing on the ranked ladder, you know, go take your Edge of Eternities constructed deck and play it in the play mode, and you'll be able to have some fun with it in standard. And Alchemy is next week, I believe, so maybe Alchemy too. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and remember, magic is fun. You should play more Magic.